Picture this: fireworks exploding, flags waving, everyone celebrating America's birthday on July 4th. But what if I told you the most famous moment in that story never actually happened on July 4th? As we barrel toward the big 250th anniversary in 2026, it's time to peel back the myths. The Declaration of Independence, the document that launched a nation, is packed with shocking truths most people never hear. Today we're counting down 5 forgotten facts that will change how you see America's founding forever. Let's dive in. Truth number 1. The Declaration of Independence was not signed on July 4th, 1776. Yeah, you read that right. July 4th is the day Congress finally approved the final wording of the document after 2 days of heated debates and edits. They voted yes on independence itself back on July 2nd. John Adams even predicted that would be the real party day. But the famous parchment we all know, the one with John Hancock's massive signature, that didn't get signed until August 2nd, almost a full month later. Why the delay? The delegates needed time to get an engrossed copy ready on fancy parchment. Not everyone was in Philadelphia on the same day. Some were off fighting the war or traveling by horse. Signing happened in batches, and the last guy, Thomas McKean from Delaware, didn't add his name until months afterward. So next time someone says, "Signed on July 4th, you can drop the mic. Actually, no one signed it that day." Mind blown yet? Hang on, because the hypocrisy, the edits, and the people completely left out get even wilder. Truth number 2. That iconic phrase, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It almost read, life, liberty, and property instead. Thomas Jefferson originally drafted it as life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. Pretty straightforward, right? Property was a huge deal in the 18th century. Land, goods, wealth. It echoed John Locke's ideas that influenced everyone back then. But Benjamin Franklin, yes, the kite-flying, bifocal inventing legend, looked at it and basically said, nah, too narrow. He suggested swapping property for pursuit of happiness. Why? Because happiness sounded broader, more inspiring, and less materialistic. It captured the dream of self-improvement. Family, not just owning stuff. Jefferson went with it, and boom, one tiny edit turned a dry legal claim into one of the most quoted feel-good lines in history. Imagine if we celebrated the pursuit of property every 4th of July. Kinda changes the vibe, doesn't it? Franklin's quick fix made the Declaration feel universal, but the real fireworks come in how they hammered the king himself. Truth number 3. Congress gutted a whole fiery section blaming King George for the slave trade because some delegates didn't want to rock the boat. In Jefferson's rough draft, there was a 168-word bombshell accusing the king of waging cruel war against human nature itself by keeping the transatlantic slave trade alive. It called out George for blocking colonies from banning slave imports, then stirring up enslaved people to rebel against their owners, basically paying for past crimes with new ones. Powerful stuff. But during debates from July 1st to 3rd, 1776, delegates from South Carolina and Georgia pushed hard to remove it. They wanted to keep importing slaves. Even some northern reps who profited from carrying slaves to others got squeamish. Jefferson later wrote it was struck in complaisance to those states. So instead of a direct slavery slam, we got a vague line about the king inciting domestic insurrections among us. The boldest anti-slavery statement? Gone. Poof. This edit protected Southern interests and let the hypocrisy slide right into the final document. Next up, the groups completely erased from the whole all-men equation. Truth number 4. When the Declaration said all men are created equal, it literally meant men. Women, Native Americans, and huge swaths of the population weren't even on the radar. Abigail Adams, wife of future President John Adams, actually begged her husband in a famous 1776 letter to remember the ladies while writing laws. She warned that if they didn't give women some rights, the ladies would foment a rebellion of their own. John laughed it off, joking that men had been fighting for independence only to face despotism from women at home. Spoiler: no rights were added for women in the Declaration or soon after. Native Americans. The document doesn't mention their sovereignty or rights at all. In fact, one grievance calls them merciless Indian savages stirred up by the king, framing frontier conflicts as the king's fault, while ignoring that colonists were expanding onto native lands. Remember that insurrection line? The all-men promise. It stopped at white property-owning men. Everyone else, women, indigenous peoples, the poor, was erased from the equation. It's a stark reminder that the ideals were revolutionary, but the application was limited. Truth number 5. Not everyone in the colonies popped champagne when the Declaration dropped. It wasn't universally celebrated, and plenty saw it as straight-up treason or disaster. While patriots rang bells and read it aloud in town squares, loyalists, about 15 to 20% of colonists, called it betrayal. They wanted to stay British for protection, trade, or principle. In New York, over 500 loyalists signed their own Declaration of Dependence, pledging loyalty to the Crown. Enslaved people and native groups, many hoped British promises, like freedom offers or land protections, would pan out better than patriot rule. Even some moderates worried independence meant endless war and chaos. John Adams thought July 2nd, the vote day, would be the big holiday, not July 4th. The document divided families, sparked loyalist exodus, tens of thousands fled, and wasn't the instant national icon we think. It took decades, way into the 1790s, for it to become the unifying symbol we celebrate today. So as we approach America's 251st in 2026, it's worth remembering. The Declaration inspired a nation, but it also fractured one. The story's messier and more human than the fireworks suggest. From the signing delay to the ignored voices and divided reactions, these forgotten truths show the Declaration wasn't perfect. It was a bold, flawed spark for change. As 2026 nears, let's keep digging into the full story. Were you surprised by anything in this video? If so, drop it in the comments. Did your view change on the Declaration of Independence? Smash that like. And if you would like more absurd history, be sure to subscribe. But wait, before you go, check out our other videos. Did Caesar stop proto-communism? Where did Santa Anna go after the Alamo? Why the Maginot Line didn't fail? And coming soon, what happened after Rome left Britain? See you next time.